What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the world according to Briggs. Have you ever had a delayed flight, a canceled flight? Seen Richard Simmons throw a hissy fit for not getting a window seat in first class? I have. Air travel sucks these days, and not just for Richard Simmons. It used to be an exciting thing to do, it was kind of nice. These days, airlines have switched to a Greyhound bus in the sky business model for some reason. The Bureau of Transportation collects data on where and why flights are taking off and arriving late. Airports are ranked by on-time performance, referring to flights that weren't canceled, diverted, or delayed for more than 15 minutes. There's a bunch of reasons flights can be delayed. Maintenance, weather, security, whatever. Sometimes flights show up and leave late. Today we're just looking at their on-time performance according to the Bureau of Transportation. Now this is from March of 2019 to February of 2020, right before the pandemic really kicked in. We're also only looking at airports that see over 1,000 commercial flights a year. So some little airport in Kansas that is mostly used for crop dusting aircraft will not be on this list. All right, let's see who's on this list. Number 10, Logan International, Boston, Massachusetts. Logan International Airport sees just under 150,000 flights a year. Logan International always seems to show up in the top 10 worst airports in the country. Now, there's some that are light years worse than Logan International, but they've got a reputation. Airport visitors complain about the lack of restaurants or cafes, wait times when it comes to baggage, either picking it up or dropping it off. That seems to be a problem here. They also say they've got rude, slow-moving TSA agents. And it's not a very attractive airport. Their on-time performance is 73.3% of the time. That's it. That means more than 25% of their flights are delayed. Number 9, Rochester International, Rochester, Minnesota. This is kind of strange. I have cousins that live in Rochester, New York, and one that lives in Rochester, Minnesota. I've never been to Rochester International Airport in Minnesota, so I actually called one of the relatives. And I said, tell me about Rochester International Airport. And she said, no, I can't. I'll just cry. That was the first thing she said. Then she went on to say that the airport sucks and things are always late, and if you want to fly in there, it's a smaller airport, so for some frickin' reason, prices are double. She said just fly into Minneapolis and drive. It's about an hour and a half south of Minneapolis, St. Paul. Rochester International Airport sees about 3,378 flights a year. Their on-time performance, 73.2%. Number 8, San Francisco International Airport, San Francisco, California. Yeah, I've never been a real fan of this airport. Not at all, actually. This is kind of strange, but one thing I noticed about the place, their announcements, I don't know who sold them the speakers for their PA system, but I never understand what they're talking about. So many times I've seen people walk up to the gate attendant or whatever and be all, what did you just say? It's really strange that they haven't fixed that. It's been about 9 months since I've been to that airport, but it doesn't seem to be getting any better. I also noticed they don't have many restaurants there. One thing I will give them, in their international terminal, they have aviation museum, which is kind of cool. At least they did some years back. San Francisco International Airport sees about 175,000 annual flights, and their on-time performance, 71.6%. Number 7, LaGuardia Airport, New York City. If you ever tell anyone they're flying out of LaGuardia that's flown out of LaGuardia before, they give you that same look that they'd give you if you just told them their puppy died. LaGuardia is a very depressing place to have to go to. People complain that the concourses are far too narrow and there's not enough places to eat or shop or anything else to do while your flight is delayed or canceled. LaGuardia sees over 170,000 flights and their on-time performance, 71.2%. Number 6, Akron Canton Regional Airport, Akron, Ohio. The best thing about Akron, Ohio is the Pro Football Hall of Fame. What's really strange about that is the Pro Football Hall of Fame is actually in Canton, along with the airport. I don't know why Akron gets the top billing here, because the airport is pretty much in Canton. They're about 30 minutes away from each other. I actually landed here one time. I was on my way to Washington, D.C., and there was some kind of weather delay or something, and they stopped us in Akron Canton Airport. I remember sitting there thinking, I don't know what I did in a past life to end up here, but here I am. Akron Canton Regional Airport only sees about 7,311 flights a year, and their on-time performance, 70.9%. Number 5, Westchester County Airport, White Plains, New York. Just outside of White Plains, New York, on the Connecticut border, you have what some consider a waste of lakefront property. The good news about this airport is they have a bunch of golf courses in the area, so you can hit the links when your flight gets canceled. And when you get a new flight, don't rush back to the airport because chances are that flight's going to be late too. They see about 10,000 flights every single year, and their on-time performance is 70.8%. Number 4, Orlando Sanford International Airport, Sanford, Florida. This is usually the first taste of disappointment most families get on their way to Disney World. Been into this airport a few times, and one thing I really like as you land or take off, I forget which one it was, but there's a nice airplane junkyard right off the runway, it looks like. Doesn't really instill a lot of confidence in flying when you see that for some reason. But I guess that is part of the normal progression. This is Florida after all, and people park old cars in their front lawn and just junk them there, and these guys just pull the old planes off to the side, it looks like, and junk those there. Orlando Sanford International Airport sees about 9,617 flights a year. Their on-time performance, 69%. Number 3, Trenton Mercer Airport, Trenton, New Jersey. This airport has some serious delays, but oddly enough, it is not the worst airport in New Jersey. I did a worst airports in the United States video a while back, and one of the absolute worst airports we have is Newark Liberty International Airport in Newark, New Jersey, or near Newark, New Jersey. While I was doing the research for that video, some organization had put out some kind of survey or poll about what they could do to improve the airport, and I was reading some of the comments. One guy had a great one. He said, mow down the airport, level it, plant trees, grow a forest, set the forest on fire, and then people will forget about the airport and all they'll remember is the forest fire. I thought that was excellent. But back to Trenton Mercer. Trenton Mercer in Trenton, New Jersey sees about 2,672 flights a year, and their on-time performance is 67.7%. Number 2, Worcester Regional Airport, Worcester, Mass. So I've never been to this one, and I don't know anyone that has. Actually, I know someone, but I can't seem to get a hold of her. So we're just going to go on the stats on this one. And before you do, I know I say Worcester weird, so sorry. So all you Bostonians and all you massholes, cut me some slack. I'm from Southern California. Worcester just squeaked in on this list with our requirement of having at least 1,000 flights. They had 1,055 flights last year. Their on-time performance is 66.7%. All right, before we get to number 1, don't forget we have another channel called On This Day. There is a link down below. Also, if you like what we're doing here and you haven't subscribed, please do so. Leave a comment, give the video a big thumbs up. All right, on to number 1. And number 1, Newark Liberty International, Newark, New Jersey. Yeah, we just talked about this one on number 3, but this airport has achieved a level of suckage so high, we could do a whole video just chronicling their years of suckage. Passengers report their terminals are poorly laid out, food services are scarce, and delays are a constant thing here. One man described this airport like this. He said, "You'd expect this to be in an underdeveloped country where despair is commonplace." That is not a glowing review of this airport. At least it's just a cheap train ride into New York City if you gotta go there. Newark Liberty International Airport sees about 141,000 annual flights, and their on-time performance is 66.2%. Not good. All right, everyone, that's today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got some information out of it. What airport do you think is the absolute worst? I would love to hear about it in the comment section below. Been thinking about doing a video where we just go off what the subscribers think, what their opinion on an airport is. So if we get enough of those, we'll do that video. All right, everybody have a great day. Be nice to each other.